Why do people believe in a creator? Buddhism does not believe in the existence of a creator. Welcome back, everyone. Mind Podcast. Why do people believe in God, the supreme deity? In 2015, around 3.7 billion people worldwide believed in God, according to research by the Pew Research Center. Approximately 84% of the global population follows some religion. Currently, many religions exist, but the majority adhere to Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, or Buddhism. There are 2.3 billion Christians, 1.8 billion Muslims, 1.1 billion Hindus, and 500 million Buddhists. About 400 million others follow traditional religious customs, while the remaining 1.2 billion people claim no religious affiliation. Despite the lack of convincing evidence for the existence of a supreme deity, whether it be God, Allah, or others, many still believe in religion across all regions of the world, in both developed and developing countries. Some religions are even predicted to grow, such as Islam, Christianity, and Hinduism. We might ask why people believe in religion and in God to such an extent. The explanation for this phenomenon can only be attributed to human nature, the smallness and fragility of human beings, the need for safety to thrive, to maintain life, to increase adaptability, and the uncertainty in the face of a vast world and a short lifespan. Religion seems to have done much for humans by soothing their anxieties, filling the voids of fear in the human psyche. Why people believe in God has been a puzzling question through generations. Some have thought of religion as an opiate, believing that God is merely a myth and that praying to God is like returning to childhood, seeking protection and forgiveness. Psychologically, belief in God has evolved with humans to increase adaptability to the natural environment. This evolution has been deeply ingrained in human genes over many generations. Humans, despite being considered wise rulers of the world, are still small, fragile, and lost in this vast world. This makes them fearful, leading them to seek a place of safety, even if it's just a belief, to survive and develop. Humans must live in communities, in ancient times, as packs, and now in organizations, villages, cities, and nations. According to evolutionary theory, anything that helps increase human adaptability will be maintained and developed along with living beings in communities. This can explain the pack life of ancient humans, their hunting-gathering lifestyle depending on nature, where dangers lurked everywhere. Living in communities, humans protected each other from dangers like wild animals or enemies. The existence of a supreme deity also serves as a foundation for community harmony and unity, especially during times of upheaval like conflicts and wars, when calls for community solidarity often invoke common religious motifs like, "In God we trust," find a common ground in belief as a starting point for joint action. Living in communities also brings about mental comfort and happiness. Religious activities, which have a communal nature, make people feel safer and happier through activities like dancing, singing, feasting, praying, and blessing. Joining religious organizations is like joining a community, helping to better adapt to the social environment. Humans struggle to survive, and their psyche will be abnormal when living alone or isolated. This need for community life has been reflected in recent years by the formation of communities and churches where people don't just engage in religious activities like praying and conversing with God, but also play, sing, and learn together, discussing ethics. Humans are inherently curious and eager for knowledge, from simple faith, philosophy developed, and then modern science, all to satisfy human curiosity. Alongside solving the problems of social and natural life, nature seems to favor humans by giving them intelligence and imagination. However, human knowledge is still limited, at least up to now. As Albert Einstein once said, human stupidity is infinite. There are many things and phenomena, such as the origin of the universe and life, that humans have not yet understood, so they seek some temporary explanation to satisfy themselves, and the belief that God created the world is the simplest explanation to accept and feel secure in life. Believing in this is a temporary compromise for survival, also proving human wisdom in increasing adaptability and development. So what about the 1.2 billion people who don't believe in God or a supreme deity? Of course, they have other beliefs as their foundation. It might be science, ethics, or something else. But those beliefs still need to bring peace and safety, even if just in the mind. adaptation, and development. If someone says they don't believe in anything, that in itself is already a belief. Belief in something might be woven into our genes. Next, let's explore why Buddhism does not believe in a creator. Buddhism does not believe in a creator, and this has been clearly affirmed because the Buddha believed that only humans control their own lives. To avoid dependence and passivity, especially in times of crisis like the present, where people live with much doubt and lack of trust in each other, we turn back to faith, hoping for salvation. Some people believe in a special deity who will answer their prayers, but Buddhists advise against seeing the Buddha as a savior deity. In Buddhist view, all humans are equal, and everyone must cultivate body and mind to have a heart like the Buddha. Moreover, the Buddha was just a human who discovered the path to liberation from suffering before us. According to the Buddha's teachings, there is no creator. Over many centuries, Buddhist philosophy has presented detailed arguments rejecting the doctrine of a creator God. It would be interesting to compare these with how Western philosophers have rejected theological arguments for the existence of a creator God. The concept of God originates from fear. The Buddha once said that it is out of fear and insecurity that humans deify mountains, forests, temples, and shrines. When faced with things they cannot control, like diseases or natural phenomena such as thunderstorms and volcanoes that threaten human life, they can only rely on spiritual factors. Humans created divine ideas to comfort themselves in difficult circumstances, possibly to arouse courage when in danger. That's why the Buddha taught that the idea of a deity comes from human fear and despair. Therefore, we need to find ways to let go of desires to calmly accept everything, and fear will dissipate. The concept of a creator God bringing true happiness to humans is not in line with the Buddha's teaching, which place humans at the highest position in dealing with the present suffering. The belief in a creator God is classified along with erroneous moral views, placing humans under the control of an invisible deity, as if determined by an absolute and unchangeable destiny. The second reason is that while other religions try to prove that they have their own God, the Buddha did not believe in deities, because there seemed to be no evidence to confirm that idea. According to Buddhism, judgment should be reserved until evidence is revealed. The third reason Buddhism does not believe in a creator God or deity is that such belief is unnecessary. Many religions rely on the image of a creator God to explain the origin of the universe. Some claim that believing in God is necessary for human salvation. However, millions of people who do not follow any religion and have free thoughts, without placing faith in God, still have a happy, meaningful, and useful life. The Buddha, through his own experience, saw that every being has the capacity to purify their soul, develop compassion, and perfect understanding. He dismissed attention to divine matters and reminded us to seek solutions to our problems through our own understanding. What did the Buddha say about the origin of the universe? All religions have mystical stories to explain the origin of the universe, but in the age of physics, astronomy, and geology, such mysteries are pushed aside by scientific foundations. Science has explained the origin of the universe without the notion of a God. Moreover, the Buddha's explanation of the origin of the universe is quite similar to the scientific view. In the Dirgha Agama Sutra, the Buddha described the universe as being destroyed and then reformed into its current shape over countless millions of years. Life initially formed from simple to complex organisms on the water's surface over countless millions of years. All these processes have no beginning and no end and operate according to natural principles. In ancient medicine, when people didn't know the causes of diseases, they believed that gods or deities created illnesses to punish humans. Today, we know the causes of diseases, and when we are sick, we need to take medicine. If Buddhism does not believe in a creator God, what does it believe in? According to Buddhist beliefs, we only believe in humans. Every person is noble and important, and everyone has the potential to become a fully enlightened person. That's why humans live in this world, to learn how to overcome ignorance, illogical beliefs, and see things as they truly are. Believing in a creator God, Brahma, has led to the maintenance of the caste system in Indian society for thousands of years, causing severe division. Each caste is dependent on the will of Brahma, fixed in position on the body of Brahma. The Brahmin caste is considered Brahma's legitimate offspring, born from Brahma's mouth, enjoying a life of luxury. The Kshatriya caste, born from Brahma's arms, represents Brahma's authority, holding power. The Vaishya caste, born from Brahma's thighs, is the caste of merchants, farmers, and craftsmen responsible for the economy. The Shudra caste, born from Brahma's feet, is considered poor and lowly, condemned to lifelong servitude to the higher castes. This illusory belief has led to fanaticism, intolerance, heightened ego, and often violence when others don't share the same beliefs and views. Buddhism is considered atheistic by those with independent thoughts or theists because Buddhism does not believe in an omnipotent and eternal creator God. Instead, it sees creation as arising from human ideas. Although Buddhism is considered a religion, its philosophical theories and practices go beyond the scope of religion. Buddhism places humans as the subject to experience suffering and to achieve liberation from suffering in this life. Rather than relying on the illusory concept of an omnipotent and eternal creator, the 6 realms of reincarnation and the pure realms of saints and sages are enough to prove that Buddhism's view is not about total annihilation after death, but about the continuous transformation of every being through the endless cycle of reincarnation. The origin of humans, according to Buddhism, is not that monkeys evolved into humans. If we take humans as the standard, then monkeys are just monkeys and cannot evolve into humans. It's the karmic force of monkeys. When a monkey dies, it will continue to reincarnate into another being, not necessarily a human. Understanding this incorrectly would violate the law of cause and effect. Human beings are often thought to be derived from monkeys, but that's a misunderstanding of evolution. To create a human being, the environment must be suitable for humans. Without the right conditions, it's impossible to create human being. Therefore, the theory of evolution from animals to humans is vague and abstract. Physical structure of humans is more complete than that of animals, especially the brain's structure and the use of mental faculties and consciousness. Monkeys cannot have human intelligence. They often live by natural instincts and imitate humans rather than inventing and creating like humans. The physical structure of humans is similar to monkeys, but there are significant differences. Humans cannot use brute strength to protect themselves like beasts, nor can they flee quickly like deer. Humans protect themselves with their intelligence, often inventing and creating things due to their brain power. This is essential for humans, something other animals cannot possess. Thus, the idea that monkeys are the ancestors of humans is vague and abstract. The law of cause and effect has determined the standards for every species. A living being lives according to a certain standard. It will be born as that species. For example, if an animal lives virtuously, it will be born as a being of that species. Conversely, if it lives wickedly, it will be born as a being of that species. Mastering birth, aging, sickness, and death means mastering karma. Mastering karma means mastering all suffering and ending the cycle of reincarnation. Ending reincarnation means liberation from the body of karma. As the Buddha taught, no one can save us except ourselves. No one can walk this path for us, only we can walk it. The Buddhas are merely guides on this path.